Bridget Phillipson, oh gosh, she's like Darth Vader. So she was talking, there's a video of her talking to Congress, and she refers to them as Congress, not human beings. And she spouts her Congress vitriol towards them. And it's like, literally, Darth Vader talking to the Siths in front of him on his superstar destroyer Avenger ship or whatever it was called. And it's just this real dehumanization of, it's the power of the human talking to the body in front of you, whether it's Congress or conference. They often do it at their conferences and they say, conference, I tell you, da, 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 da. And it's a real party thing. And it's no wonder if somebody aligns with those values that they're not going to be able to connect with you and me. It's no wonder that if they see people as a body rather than an individual, there is absolutely no way they're going to be able to understand the effects of their body on the individual. So that's the first thing. And if you look back in Bridget Phillipson's life, which she spouts on about all the time, being this, northern working class girl who grew up without heating upstairs, actually look at Bridget Phillipson's life. She went to a very good Catholic school, and then she went to Oxford University. Now that, is not easy or cheap. And then at Oxford University, I think she was chair or something to do with the Labour Party there. She became a Labour Party member at 15. She talks about her close-knit family. She talks about her grandparents having a significant role in her family. She doesn't talk about her father. Now, we are told that he was a teacher and played no part in her upbringing. There's a whole subsection on social media about who her father is. His name apparently is not on a birth certificate. He is not you cannot link him to Bridget Phillipson in any way, shape or form. So nobody knows who he is, but there's a lot of rumours going on about it might be an MP. And there's a lot of photo fits where they put a photograph of the MP next to Bridget Phillipson and everyone says, don't they look the same? We don't know. So much goes on social media. You have to sift through the bits that you believe and sift through the bits that you don't. This is a repeat occurrence that we're seeing, but regardless, there's obviously a pinch point there with her dad, and that's normal, for somebody to have had an absent parent and have holes and gaps that they feel need filling or weren't filled or have left a void. You can understand why somebody may carry some wounds and trauma. Our issue is that those wounds and trauma are being played out on you and I and the children of the country today, and if she gets to be deputy leader, everyone. So, and of course, this is the other thing. It's deputy leader. It's not deputy prime minister. It's like a job share, isn't it? It's like you're important, but neither of you are as important as me. I'm the prime minister. And, how long he'll be prime minister for, who knows? Who's going to replace him? That's an interesting one. But if Phillipson makes her way up the ranks, it could well be her. Now, she's got a lot of support from the junior ministers. Of course she does, because the junior ministers all idolise Keir Starmer at present. So they are not going to upset the apple cart, and they know that he, at the minute, has her back because quite a lot of the other contenders can't stand him, so you wouldn't back somebody that doesn't like you. So at the minute, Bridget is kind of his only option because she's the only one that appears to, on the surface, support him. How long that will last? Who knows? But we've got the junior ministers who are supporting Bridget, and she's spouting her working class roots story. And something that she said, which I have taken great objection, well, I take objection to 90% of what she says, but she says, we get there not through the politics of fear and hatred, but through hope and justice. Now, this is a woman who is striking fear into the hearts of most parents at schools, quite a lot of teachers at schools, definitely a lot of children at school. So fear is something that Bridget Phillipson works on. And if you watch this video of her delivering her speech to Congress, this is not the video of somebody who's having a nice chat with them. This is an angry video. This is the video of somebody who has got an awful lot in there that she needs to get out there, but it's personal. And we can talk about passion, and we can talk about somebody being passionate, and then we can talk about somebody overstepping the line and being aggressive. And that's what Bridget is. And fear and hatred runs in her core. She hates certain sectors of society to the point where she will do anything to eradicate them. And if that means that children are involved, so be it. But yet she is the Education Secretary, but she has openly admitted she is the Education Secretary for 93% of the children that are in state educations. The rest they can go and do one. She couldn't give two hoots about them. She is not the Education Secretary for children. So if we look at children and what's happening, we see Bridget with her detention clubs so that she can raise the standards of attendance. She's got no idea why kids aren't going to school. She just wants them in school. And she wants them in school because when they're in school and she's got her hands on the curriculum, she can indoctrinate them with Labour policies. She would like to bring politics in for 11-year-olds. Now, they're not going to be the politics of Reform, the Conservatives or the Greens, are they? Let's be honest. So we know what Bridget is trying to do. We know what her ideology is. We know where her end game is, which is a bit like Darth Vader, Lord of the Siths, Bridget Phillipson. But what I think is really coming out now is her personality. She's deeply unlikable. So she tries the softer voice when she's talking to, I noticed it with Fiona Bruce, she sort of tries the softer voice to be girls together, to be pally. But you can see the flash across the eyes and the clenching of the jaw and the mouth closing when she's ever even close to challenged. And she will not accept challenge. She cannot have challenge. And when she is challenged, all she can think of, revenge. It's not about putting her point across and, if we're having a debate, we obviously want to persuade the other person that our side is right, what we're saying is right. What she's doing is telling you it's right. She's not trying to persuade or enlighten or indeed listen to the alternative. Now, I understand that in politics, particularly at that level of politics, it's black and white. For her, it's Labour or it's not. For those of us who might be slightly more liberal further down the tree, we can see elements in all the parties that we would support, and we could probably see an amalgamation of all the parties. And the reason that we see that is because we are all individuals and we all come from different walks of life, and there are things that benefit some of us and things that benefit others of us, and there are things that we can see benefit others that don't necessarily impact us, etc., etc. So we're all sort of slightly mild-mannered individuals on the whole, whereas up at the top of the tree with your Bridget Phillipson, Lord Sith, we have the real, you all have to be the same. You all have to be in the same uniform, spouting the same stuff. And that stuff has to be the Labour stuff. And that's terrifying. That's up there with digital ID. That is up there with we are becoming robots under this Labour government. Now, I'm not for a second suggesting that some of this hasn't been a predecessor, and I'm not for a second suggesting that we're not going to get things like this in the future with future governments. But when you have a government that enhances every level of eroding our individuality and our freedoms, then that is terrifying. And freedom is something that she talks about when she's talking to the Congress, and she talks about better choices for parents and freedoms for families from a party that want to introduce digital ID, freedom for families. Yet families aren't allowed the freedom to choose their own nursery for their kids. For some families, they can't even get the healthcare that they want for their children. Children aren't being afforded the school that suits their needs. These freedoms, where are they? Rachel Reeves is taking away families' freedoms to financial choice and literacy. Rachel Reeves is taking away any kind of freedom for any family to be able to make a choice that suits their family because she doesn't agree with it. She doesn't want it. She wants your money. She doesn't want you to be able to spend it. She wants to be able to spend it for you, but not on your behalf instead of you. And this is the vein running through the core of the Labour Party. And, I've talked here, or I've written down some notes about Bridget's talking about free school meals and free breakfasts. So she starts at the bottom of the chain with the children in her like me, love me, I'm great type thing. So with the free breakfast, we know that they're taxpayer-funded breakfasts because Rachel Reeves imposed a tax. So that we're all working together, we're all on the same page in Labour, which is we'll tax them as much as we can, then we'll give them back a tiny weeny bit and pretend it's in their best interest. Free school meals. So Labour have broken the link between pupil premium and free school meals. So when we talk about getting children out of poverty, which is something that no one could argue against, not one person could argue that getting children out of poverty was not the right thing to do. Yet we look at a government who is making it harder for children to access free school meals. And we look at a government that's making it harder for children to access the support that they need. We're looking at a government who effectively has dismissed neurodiversity as I don't even know what they've dismissed it as, and welcomed inclusion in mainstream schools, but you're included if you fit their peg. And if you don't, you're off in a special school. Funded by who? So it's a heady mix at the minute. I obviously am not a member of the Labour Party, so I will not be giving a vote to Bridget Phillipson, and you most likely are not either. And there is very little we can do about this other than just watch what happens and what comes out. But I think if ever we needed a snapshot into what was going on into an imploding party, this is it. And I've said all along, she is dangerous. She is not just dislikable. Is that a word? Unlikable. She is dangerous. And I fear her danger is that her ideology is clouding any level of connection between her and the actual individuals in this country, regardless of what party you are on. You have to be Bridget Phillipson's way. It's her way or the highway. And if you are not, then things don't look so great.